Saad and Kwaku were the embodiment of love in their peaceful village. Their bond was admired by many, as they complemented each other in every way. Saad, with her gentle nature and unwavering faith, found her strength in Kwaku's laughter and kindness. Kwaku, a hard-working fisherman, adored his wife and often promised her a lifetime of happiness. Together they built a humble but joyful life, filled with dreams of a prosperous future. However, fate had different plans. One evening, as the golden hues of the sunset faded over the village, Kwaku kissed Saad on the forehead and told her he was heading to the river to check on his fishing nets. It was a common routine and Saad had no reason to worry. She watched him disappear into the darkness, expecting him to return shortly as he always did. But this time Kwaku never came back. The night passed in eerie silence, and when dawn broke, Saad realized something was terribly wrong. She rushed to the riverbank, her heart pounding with fear. There was no sign of her husband. His boat was still tied to the shore and his nets lay untouched. Panic set in as she searched frantically, calling his name, but only the rustling trees and the whispering wind responded. Word spread quickly through the village. Men gathered to help, searching every corner of the river and the nearby forest, but there was no trace of Kwaku. Days turned into weeks, and with no sign of his body or any clue to his whereabouts, the villagers began to accept the worst. Kwaku was gone forever. They mourned his loss and urged Saad to do the same. But she refused. Saad knew her husband too well. He was strong, careful, and experienced in the ways of the river. He wouldn't have simply vanished without a trace. Deep inside, a stubborn hope burned in her heart, telling her that Kwaku was out there somewhere, waiting for her to find him. Ignoring the whispers of pity and the advice to move on, Saad devoted herself to uncovering the truth. She retraced Kwaku's steps, speaking to fishermen, travelers, and even the village elders, hoping for a clue. Every night, she sat by the river, whispering his name into the wind, waiting for a sign. The loneliness was unbearable, but her love for Kwaku kept her strong. As time passed, the villagers pitied her relentless search, calling it madness. But Saad did not care. She felt his presence in the wind, in the waves, in the very earth beneath her feet. She knew deep down that Kwaku's story was not over and neither was theirs. One fateful night, as she sat by the river under the pale glow of the moon, a strange sensation washed over her. The air turned cold and the water rippled as if something unseen moved beneath it. And then in the distance she saw it, a shadow barely visible yet unmistakable. It stood at the edge of the river, calling her name in a voice as familiar as her own heartbeat. Kwaku's shadow had returned. The village was silent, bathed in the dim glow of the moon. Saad sat at the entrance of her small hut, her heart weighed down by sorrow. It had been weeks since Kwaku disappeared, and though the village had accepted his fate, she refused to believe he was truly gone. Her nights were restless, her dreams filled with shadows that moved without form, whispering secrets she could not understand. That night, as the wind carried the distant hoot of an owl, she heard it, her name spoken in a hushed, almost desperate voice. Saad. The sound slithered through the air like a ghostly breath, making the hairs on her arms rise. She sat up, her heart pounding. She turned her head toward the sound, her eyes scanning the darkness. The wind rustled the leaves of the nearby trees, but amidst the natural sounds of the night, there was something else, something unnatural. A shadow flickered along the walls of her hut, moving in ways that did not match the direction of the moonlight. Kwaku, she whispered, barely able to say the name aloud. The shadow stilled for a moment, then moved again. It stretched and reformed as if trying to take shape. The whisper came again, clearer this time. Saad, find me. Her breath caught in her throat. Every instinct screamed for her to run, to seek the safety of the village elders, but something deep inside told her she had to follow. Swallowing her fear, she wrapped a shawl around her shoulders and stepped cautiously into the night. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and something else, something old, something forgotten. The whispers guided her, floating through the trees like an unseen hand pulling her forward. Her bare feet brushed against cool grass and uneven stones as she ventured beyond the outskirts of the village, into the dense forest. The trees loomed tall, their gnarled branches twisting toward the sky like skeletal fingers. Just as doubt began to creep into her mind, she spotted a dim light ahead. A flickering glow pulsed between the trees as if beckoning her closer. With cautious steps, she approached and found herself standing before a small clearing where an old woman sat by a fire. The woman's skin was wrinkled like the bark of an ancient tree, her eyes dark pools of mystery. You heard his voice, didn't you? The woman said before Saad could utter a word. Saada's breath hitched. You know about Kwaku? "Where is he?" she demanded, desperation leaking into her voice. The old woman poked at the fire, her expression unreadable. "Not all who are lost have truly left this world. Some linger between the realms, bound by unfinished deeds." Saad clenched her fists. "What are you saying? Is he dead?" The old woman looked up, her gaze piercing. "No, child. Not dead. Not truly alive either. He is trapped. Taken. And if you wish to save him, you must be willing to walk where few dare to tread." A chill ran down Sada's spine. "Taken? By what?" The woman did not answer immediately. Instead, she reached into a woven pouch at her side and pulled out a small, carved talisman. "The river spirits guard their secrets well. If Kwaku vanished near the water, then it is the spirits who hold him now. You must go to them, seek their favor, and demand his return." Sada's fingers trembled as she took the talisman. The wood felt warm, almost alive. "How do I find them?" she asked, steeling herself for the answer. The old woman smiled, a slow, knowing expression. "At the hour when the moon is highest, return to the river where he was last seen. Speak his name 3 times and the spirits will come. But beware, child, they do not give without taking in return." A heavy silence settled between them. Saad understood the warning. Whatever she was about to face would not be without cost. But she had made up her mind. She would do whatever it took to bring Kwaku back. Clutching the talisman tightly, she turned back toward the village, her heart pounding with fear and determination. The night was far from over, and her journey had only just begun. Sada's heart pounded as she listened to the old woman's words. The flickering light from the small fire cast eerie shadows across the hut, making the atmosphere even more unsettling. The old woman, her face lined with age and wisdom, stirred a bubbling pot and gazed into the flames as if seeing visions beyond the mortal world. "The spirits have taken him," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. "Long ago, Kwaku trespassed upon sacred land, a place meant only for the forgotten souls. The spirits are vengeful, and they do not forgive easily." Sada's breath hitched. "But he didn't know," she protested. "He would never disrespect the spirits knowingly." The old woman nodded. "Perhaps. But the spirits do not listen to pleas. They claimed his soul, pulling him into their realm. He is trapped between life and death, a shadow of himself." Tears welled in Sada's eyes. She had known something unnatural had happened to her husband. His disappearance was too sudden, too strange. Now she finally had an answer, but it was one that filled her with fear. "There must be a way to bring him back," she said desperately. "Tell me what I must do." The old woman sighed, throwing a handful of strange herbs into the fire. A thick, purple smoke filled the air, making Sada's head swim. "There is a way," she admitted. "But it is dangerous. Few have entered the spirit realm and returned." Saad straightened her back. "Tell me." The old woman studied her carefully before nodding. "You must enter their world before the next full moon. The spirits do not expect the living to seek them out, but if you go with courage and a pure heart, you may have a chance." "How do I enter the spirit realm?" Saad asked, gripping her hands tightly together. "The path is hidden, known only to those who dare. But I will guide you." The old woman reached behind her and pulled out a small pouch. She poured its contents into Sada's palm, dried leaves, black as night, with an odd scent of earth and decay. "These will open the way," she explained. "At midnight, go to the river where Kwaku disappeared. Crush the leaves in your hands and whisper his name 3 times. The river will respond, revealing the path." Saad swallowed hard. The thought of stepping into the unknown filled her with unease, but the love she had for Kwaku was stronger than her fear. "And once I enter?" The old woman's expression darkened. "The spirits will try to keep you there. They will whisper, deceive, and tempt you. Do not trust them. You must find Kwaku's spirit and call him back to the world of the living. If he remembers who he is, he can return. If he forgets, you will lose him forever." Saad clenched her fists, determination surging through her veins. "I will bring him back." The old woman nodded approvingly. "Then you must prepare. You have only 3 nights before the full moon. When the time comes, do not hesitate. The spirits sense weakness and they will use it against you." Saad spent the next days preparing herself mentally and physically. She fasted, as the old woman instructed, purifying her body for the journey ahead. Each night, she listened carefully to the whispers in the wind, feeling them grow stronger as the full moon neared. The village sensed something different about her, but no one dared to ask what she was planning. On the fated night, Saad made her way to the river. The moon hung high in the sky, casting silver light over the rippling water. She took a deep breath, crushed the black leaves in her hands and whispered, "Kwaku." Nothing happened. She whispered again, "Kwaku." Still, the river remained silent. Heart pounding, she said his name a third time. "Kwaku." The wind howled through the trees, and the river suddenly glowed with an eerie, greenish light. The water churned, forming a swirling vortex in its center. A strange humming sound filled the air, sending shivers down Sada's spine. She stepped forward, the old woman's words echoing in her mind. With one final breath, she plunged into the glowing water. Darkness surrounded her instantly, thick and suffocating. The weight of the spirit realm pressed down on her chest, making it hard to breathe. She felt herself sinking, drifting deeper into the unknown. Suddenly voices whispered all around her. "Sad, you seek what is lost. Turn back, he is ours now." The whispers grew louder, filling her head with doubt. Cold hands brushed against her skin, unseen figures lurking in the shadows. She knew she couldn't let fear take hold. She clenched her fists and called out, "Kwaku, where are you?" A faint voice answered, "Sad." Hope surged through her veins. She followed the voice, pushing past the swirling darkness. Shapes moved around her, trying to block her path, but she pressed forward. "Kwaku, it's me. Come back to me." A figure emerged from the shadows, a man with hollow eyes and a lost expression. Sad gasped. It was Kwaku, but he looked different, as though he had forgotten who he was. "You must remember," she pleaded. "You are Kwaku. You belong to the living." The spirits shrieked around her, their whispers growing desperate. "He is ours. He does not remember you." Tears streamed down Sada's face. She reached out, touching Kwaku's face gently. "Look at me, my love. Remember our life together. Remember who you are." Kwaku blinked, his expression shifting. His eyes, once dull, slowly brightened with recognition. "Sad? Yes. Come back to me." A roar of anger filled the air as the spirits lashed out, but it was too late. Kwaku's body shuddered, and the darkness around them began to break apart. A blinding light engulfed them both, pulling them out of the spirit realm. Sad gasped for air as she and Kwaku emerged from the river, collapsing onto the shore. He coughed violently, his body trembling. When he finally looked at her, his eyes were filled with life once more. "You saved me," he whispered. Sad clutched his hands, sobbing with relief. "I would go anywhere to bring you back." In the distance, the wind carried the spirit's final, defeated whispers into the night. Sad took a deep breath as she stepped beyond the boundaries of her village, her heart pounding like the drums of the elders. She had always been told that no mortal should venture into the lands beyond, but love had given her courage. The whispers of Kwaku's name in the wind, the shadow that called to her in the night, she knew now that he was trapped, waiting for her to bring him home. The old woman had warned her of the 3 trials she must pass before she could reach the spirit world. Each would test her heart, her mind, and her soul. If she failed even one, she would be lost forever, just as Kwaku had been. Her first challenge came swiftly. Before her lay a great river, its waters dark and restless. But it was no ordinary river. Its currents whispered secrets, voices rising and falling like a chorus of lost souls. As she approached, the river's voice grew clearer, calling her by name. "Sad," it murmured, "turn back before it is too late." She shivered, but she did not stop. Her feet touched the water's edge, and suddenly the river spoke with Kwaku's voice. "Sad," the voice pleaded. "Why do you risk your life for me? Go home, forget me." Tears welled in her eyes. Was this truly Kwaku, or was it a trick? She clenched her fists and whispered, "I will not leave you behind." A powerful wave rose before her, but she did not flinch. She stepped forward, and the water parted, creating a narrow path. With determined steps, she crossed, leaving the whispers behind. The first trial was complete. As soon as she reached the other side, she was met with her second challenge. A towering mountain loomed before her, its paths ever shifting. No 2 travelers had ever climbed it the same way. It was said that only those who truly knew their purpose could find their way to the peak. Sad began to climb, but the moment she stepped onto the path, the rocks moved beneath her feet. A new path opened to her left, another to her right. She hesitated. If she chose wrong, she would never reach the top. She closed her eyes, listening to her heart. The path to Kwaku would not be the easiest, nor the most obvious. It would be the one that called to her spirit. She took a step forward, then another, and as she did, the path solidified beneath her feet. She climbed higher and higher, the mountain trying to trick her with dead ends and false turns, but she trusted herself. At last, she reached the summit, and before her stood the entrance to the final trial, a cave hidden within the clouds. Inside, the darkness was alive. Shadows moved, voices whispered, unseen eyes watched. It was said that this cave was guarded by spirits who saw into the hearts of those who entered. A deep voice echoed through the cavern. Who dares enter? Sod did not waver. I seek my husband Kwaku. The cave rumbled. To find him, you must give up your greatest strength. She frowned. What do you mean? Your courage has brought you here. Give it to us and we shall let you pass. Sada's heart ached. If she gave up her courage, how would she face what lay ahead? How would she bring Kwaku back? Then she understood. True strength was not in never feeling fear, it was in choosing to act despite it. I will not give you my courage, she declared. Because courage is not something that can be taken, it is something that lives inside me no matter what. Silence. Then a path opened before her, the spirits retreating into the shadows. She had passed the third trial. At last she stood at the entrance to the spirit realm. The air shimmered, filled with an otherworldly light. Kwaku was close, she could feel it in her bones. Taking a deep breath, she stepped forward. She had come too far to turn back now. Sod stepped cautiously into the ethereal realm, her heart pounding like a war drum. The air was thick with whispers, shadows slithering past her like memories lost in time. Before her stood a towering glass prison, within which Kwaku remained motionless, his form translucent, neither fully present nor completely gone. His eyes flickered with recognition as he saw her, and his lips moved, but no sound reached her ears. He was trapped between worlds, his spirit caught in an unending limbo. The spirits that held him were ancient and vengeful, their voices echoing in the emptiness around her. You dare step into our domain? One of them hissed. Your love has brought you here, but love alone is not enough. If you wish to free him, a price must be paid. Sod steadied herself. What do you demand? She asked, her voice firm despite the terror clawing at her heart. The spirits circled her, their misty forms shifting with the wind. A soul for a soul, one of them intoned. Give us your own, and he shall walk free. The words sent a chill down her spine. If she surrendered her soul, Kwaku would live, but she would be lost to the spirit realm forever. She would never again see the sunrise, never feel the warmth of his embrace. But was his life worth the cost of her own? As she hesitated, another spirit spoke, its voice softer yet laced with knowing. Or, you may offer us something else, a truth you have buried deep within you. A secret so powerful that it will alter your fate forever. A secret? Sada's breath caught. There was only one truth she had never dared speak even to herself. A truth she had buried in the depths of her heart long ago. She looked at Kwaku, at the love that had bound them across realms, and knew what she had to do. I choose to reveal my secret, she said, her voice trembling but resolute. The spirits murmured in anticipation, their forms tightening around her. Speak. Let the truth set him free. Sod closed her eyes, feeling the weight of the past pressing against her. Before Kwaku and I were wed, she began, there was another. A man I once loved before fate led me to Kwaku. But I was young and afraid. When the time came to choose, I let my fear of uncertainty guide me. I convinced myself that Kwaku was the better choice, not because my heart was entirely his, but because I feared what would happen if I followed the other path. She opened her eyes, tears streaming down her face. I have always loved Kwaku, but I have also carried this doubt, this question of what might have been. And for years I have hidden it from him, from myself. Now I offer it to you. My deepest truth, my greatest regret. The spirits were silent for a long moment. Then, slowly, the glass prison around Kwaku began to crack, golden light seeping through the fractures. With a shattering sound, it collapsed, and Kwaku fell forward into Sada's arms, gasping for air as though he had been drowning in nothingness. The truth has set him free, the spirits whispered. You have paid the price. Go now and live with the knowledge that fate is never as simple as it seems. The spirit realm began to fade, the shadows dissolving into the wind. Sod clung to Kwaku as the world around them blurred and shifted, until they found themselves back on the riverbank where their journey had begun. The air was cool, the moon high above them as if no time had passed at all. Kwaku held her face in his hands, searching her eyes. Sod, what did you do? She smiled through her tears. I told the truth, and it saved us both. As they rose, hand in hand, Sod knew that their love had been tested in ways no others had known. And though she still carried the echoes of her past choices, she also carried something far more powerful, the knowledge that love, when forged in truth, could withstand even the darkest of curses. Sod stands before Kwaku, trapped in a shimmering glass prison in the heart of the spirit world. His eyes are distant, lost in a void between life and death. The spirits, now surrounding her in ghostly wisps, speak in echoes. They give her a final challenge, a test of love, memory, and fate. If she fails, Kwaku will be lost to the spirits forever. She must remind him of who he is before sunrise. The weight of their ultimatum crushes her chest, but she refuses to back down. Stepping closer to the prison, she presses her palms against the cold surface. "Kwaku, it's me, Sod," she whispers. "Do you remember me?" But Kwaku remains silent, staring through her as if she does not exist. The spirits cackle, their voices sharp like shattered glass. "He belongs to us now. Unless you can pull him back from the depths of forgetfulness, he will never return to your world." Determined, Sod closes her eyes and searches her heart for the strongest memories they shared. She speaks of the first day they met, when he offered her fruit from his harvest as a gift. She recalls the nights they sat under the stars, whispering their dreams to the wind. She reminds him of the way he used to call her name, the way he laughed, the way he held her hand on the day they were wed. Still he does not respond. Desperation creeps into her voice. "Kwaku, I crossed rivers and mountains for you. I faced creatures of the dark. I came into this realm knowing I might never leave. But I would rather be lost here with you than return to a world where you no longer exist." For a moment, something flickers in his eyes, like a distant candle struggling against the wind. She presses her forehead against the glass and sings softly, a lullaby she used to hum while they worked together in the fields. The spirits grow restless, sensing the shift. "He is slipping from us," they hiss. Kwaku blinks. His fingers twitch. He raises a shaking hand to the glass. "Sod?" Hope surges through her veins. "Yes. It's me, my love." The glass prison trembles, cracks forming along its surface. The spirits screech, swirling around them in a storm of anger. Sod feels the world shift beneath her feet, the ground cracking open as if the spirit realm itself is rebelling against her success. With one final push of her love and willpower, she shouts his name. The glass shatters. Kwaku stumbles forward into her arms, his body warm, his breath real. He holds her as though he has awakened from a long nightmare. "You came for me?" he whispers. Tears stream down her face. "I will always come for you." The spirits wail in fury, but the realm begins to collapse around them. A glowing portal opens, revealing the path back to the land of the living. Sod grabs Kwaku's hand, pulling him toward the light. But as they step through, she feels something cold brush against her skin. Something has followed them back. Sod and Kwaku step out of the glowing portal, gasping as their feet touch the familiar earth of their village. The scent of burning wood and fresh rain fills the air, the warmth of home wrapping around them. Villagers, startled by their sudden return, stare in shock. Kwaku had vanished moons ago, presumed dead, yet here he was, alive. Oh, but something was different. The village elder, Baba Osei, steps forward, his weathered face unreadable. "Kwaku, Sod, the spirits have returned you to us. But tell me, what price did you pay?" Sod grips Kwaku's hand tightly, her mind racing. She cannot tell them everything. Not yet. That night, their home is filled with quiet celebration. Neighbors bring food, singing praises of Kwaku's miraculous return. Yet as the night deepens, an uneasy chill lingers in the air. Long after the others have left, Sod watches her husband. His hands tremble slightly as he eats, his gaze unfocused. Shadows flicker oddly along the walls, stretching unnaturally. A cold breath brushes against the back of her neck, and she turns sharply, only to find nothing there. Then, just as she is about to dismiss her fear as exhaustion, she hears it. A whisper. Soft, distant, yet unmistakable. "Sadi." Her heart pounds. She looks at Kwaku, expecting him to react, but he continues eating as if he heard nothing. The whispers come again, curling through the hut like unseen fingers. The candlelight flickers. The shadows around Kwaku shift, elongating, twisting. For a moment they take the shape of clawed hands reaching toward him. Sod gasps. "Kwaku, something is wrong." He blinks at her, confused. "What do you mean?" She grabs his wrist. His skin is colder than it should be. "The spirits, they are not done with us." As the days pass, the disturbances grow worse. Villagers whisper about strange happenings. At night, their hut creaks as though unseen feet walk upon the floor. The whispers grow louder, forming words that chill Sod to the bone. The debt is unpaid. Kwaku begins waking up in strange places, standing outside at dawn with no memory of how he got there. His reflection in water ripples unnaturally, his eyes too dark, too empty. Then one evening a child goes missing near the river. The villagers search frantically, and when they find the boy, he is trembling, eyes wide with terror. "I saw him," the boy stammers. "Kwaku." But it wasn't him. His eyes were black and his shadow stretched across the trees. A cold dread settles over the village. The elders summon Sod. Baba Ose's voice is grave. "We feared this. No one returns from the spirit realm unchanged. Whatever you brought back is not fully your husband." Sada's heart clenches. "Then how do I save him?" The elder studies her for a long moment before speaking. "The spirits never take without reason. If they still whisper, it means something was left undone. To truly free Kwaku, you must right an ancient wrong." Sod shudders as she recalls the spirit's words, the demand for sacrifice for secrets untold. Had she truly done enough to save him? That night, she holds Kwaku close, whispering promises she isn't sure she can keep. Sod and Kwaku set out before dawn, the village shrouded in mist as they walk hand in hand toward the forbidden land. Though the journey is silent, an unspoken fear lingers between them. Kwaku's grip tightens around hers, he is afraid too. The sacred land lies beyond the river, hidden deep in the heart of the forest where no villager dares to go. Legends speak of it as a cursed place, a realm where the dead whisper and the living vanish. As they step into the dense woods, the air grows heavy, thick with an unnatural stillness. The usual hum of insects and rustling leaves is absent. Even the wind refuses to blow. Then the whispers return. Low, echoing voices coil around them like unseen hands. The debt remains unpaid. Sod shudders, but she does not stop walking. She knows what must be done. They reach a clearing where the earth is darker, almost black. In the center stands an ancient stone altar, cracked with age yet humming with an eerie energy. Kwaku's breathing quickens. His shadow flickers unnaturally beneath him, stretching and writhing. Sod knows they do not have much time. Baba Ose had told her of the long-lost tribute, the one that Kwaku had unknowingly taken generations ago. A sacred golden idol, once belonging to the spirits, had been stolen by his ancestors. Without its return, no soul taken by the spirits could ever truly be free. From her satchel, Sod carefully pulls out the small golden statue they retrieved from the elder's hut. The idol is warm in her hands, pulsing with unseen power. She kneels before the altar. "We come seeking forgiveness," she whispers, placing the idol back onto the stone. "Take back what is yours." For a moment nothing happens. The forest holds its breath. Then, the ground trembles. The whispers rise into a chilling wail, swirling around them in a furious wind. The trees bend, their branches clawing at the sky. Shadows dance wildly, growing darker, heavier. Kwaku staggers back, clutching his chest. He gasps as unseen forces seem to pull at him, dragging him toward the altar. "Sod," he chokes out. "They're not letting me go." Panic surges through her. "No. I gave them what they wanted. But the spirits demand more." With tears in her eyes, Sod throws herself onto the altar. "Then take me instead," she cries. "Let him go. He has paid enough." The wind howls. The shadows surge toward her. Then suddenly they stop. A deep silence falls over the land. The air clears. The trees stand still. The golden idol glows faintly before settling into place, as if it had never been disturbed. The spirits are gone. Kwaku collapses to his knees, gasping. His shadow is normal again. His skin is warm. The whispers are no more. Sod rushes to him, pressing her forehead against his. "It's over," she breathes. "We're free." Hand in hand, they make their way back to the village, forever changed. That night, for the first time in weeks, their home is quiet. No whispers. No moving shadows. Just peace. And under the silver glow of the moon, Sod and Kwaku hold each other close, knowing that their love has conquered even the spirit world itself. In the darkness, the shadows watch. The sun rose gently over the village, casting a golden glow over the thatched huts and rippling fields. Birds sang their morning songs, and the river, once a place of sorrow, now shimmered with peaceful ripples. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, Sod and Kwaku woke to the warmth of a new day without the weight of whispers following them. No shadows lurked in corners. No unnatural winds rattled their home. The spirits had accepted their offering, and at last the past had been put to rest. But while the spirits had gone, their story had only just begun. The village had long feared the forbidden land and the tales surrounding it. But when Sod and Kwaku returned, alive, unharmed, and victorious, the people gathered in awe. Their story spread like wildfire. Elders, once skeptical of ghostly whispers, now listened with reverence as Saad recounted their journey. She spoke of the trials they endured, the spirits that tested them, and the great lesson they had learned, that the past is never truly buried until it is acknowledged. One by one, villagers who had long ignored the warnings of the ancestors stepped forward, seeking wisdom from Saad and Kwaku. They wished to learn, to understand, and to never again anger the spirits who had once watched over them. In time, Saad and Kwaku became known as the keepers of tradition. They led ceremonies honoring the ancestors, ensuring that forgotten customs were revived. They guided young couples, teaching them that love was not merely a matter of affection, but of loyalty, sacrifice, and courage. Their hut, once small and ordinary, became a place of gathering. Travelers from distant villages came to hear their tale. Children sat wide-eyed at their feet, shivering with excitement as Saad recounted the night the spirits whispered her name. But despite their fame, Saad and Kwaku remained humble. They spent their days working the land, tending to the fields, and helping those in need. They did not seek riches or power, only peace. They wanted nothing more than to ensure no one repeated the mistakes that had nearly cost them everything. Years passed and the village flourished. No one dared to step onto sacred land without performing the proper rites. The spirits remained at peace and no whispers haunted the night again. But though the shadows never returned, the legend of Saad and Kwaku lived on. Even generations later, mothers would tell their children, "Love as Saad loved. Fight as she fought. And always, always, honor those who came before you." For love had defied even death, and in that love, the village found its greatest strength.